Okay, so this video is going to be about this woman whose husband works for the DOJ, and her husband apparently like spoke to Gypsy's parole officer allegedly and knows why Gypsy's case is got removed from Casenet. And it's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's true. It sounds kind of strange to me, but you guys can let me know what you think. And also, I think that there might be something in here about why those copyright strikes are happening, and specific creators are allegedly having investigations done about them. Again, this is all alleged. I have no way of verifying what this woman said is true, but this is what she said. So let's see.
The information I got, yes, my husband works for DOJ. I did not mention that the other day. It's not something I put out there. But I guarantee you by tomorrow, as soon as I say this, it is going to be on everybody's stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not here for clout, so I'm going to tell you what I really know. What ended up happening was the reason that the case is right now is because the probation officer requested there was a safety issue. There is actually a safety issue. Yes, you're right. It is public knowledge. And yes, it is about safety with the community. But it became a safety underneath the pregnancy. This has nothing to do per se with Gypsy as
I
far
can
as
100% see that.
whole, but it has to do with that unborn child. So literally to say, and this goes back to not just Missouri, but this come back actually is a request in Louisiana from her probation officer there. It became because there has been some incidences that have not been exposed, but that they were worried about her actually and being in harm's way. And if something would have happened to that child, that unborn child, then this would have become the stories that are being not just here, Facebook and everywhere else it has become now a literally threat. The reason that the probation officer went into the account, into the charges and everything else through the Kirka court was because it became a safety and they were trying to figure out what they could do. What has happened on TikTok preferably has now became an issue because this now becomes bigger than just Gypsy and her crime. And I think, and I'm gonna say what I have to say, but I think every one of these troll
May I ask a
creators.
question real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Well then, if that's the case, if it's the pregnancy itself, and then does that mean that we will get her record back after she births that baby?
I cannot tell you that as of right now.
So
I
that
can
she
only
will
tell
still
you
be on
what.
parole by that time of still birthing that child.
But
Yes.
I think though the point is that like then it would still put the child at risk, and I think what G Fire was saying is that
State
like
of Missouri law.
hold on, T, can you let people finish? You interrupted G, and then you just interrupted me. So can you wait a second?
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
I want to hear you finish too. Is because I think what you were saying is that because of the discussion and the discord that has been so toxic and harmful. I mean, there are people on this app that are calling like for inciting people to threaten and harass her and inciting people to call the parole officer, right? So there is inciting the V word, which we can't say on TikTok, and which makes sense. But then, my question is the same as T is like, well, then once the baby's born, like, and they're physically separated, but they're still together, so they're not physically separated, right? Like,
So right now, so we have to only speak of now, and once the child is born, they very well could, also put in a court of, protection for that child. So, but right now, due to some medical, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the pregnancy, but stress and things like this that are causing, but it's a little more deeper than just the emotional part. And I don't know exactly what happened, and that was privileged. But what I was told was that it had to do with her, the baby, not so much Gypsy and her crime. It had to do with the baby because at the end of the day, as you know and I know, that over having that kind of someone snooping around, and it actually came back to someone reporting where she was going to the doctor at. That's where it actually came in at. Once that was exposed, then it became another bigger issue. So when you have all of these creators that are, and I'm not going to say names because I'm not going to glorify that, but when you have them going in and telling this information, you're not just putting her at risk, you're putting that child at risk.
Okay, so let me get this straight. According to this woman, Gypsy's so special that she's the only person in the world that gets to get her case taken off because she's pregnant. Am I right? Is that what she's saying? Because that sounds a little ridiculous to me. Also, I have never heard any creator put out where she's going to the doctor. That is BS, in my opinion. But if they are putting it out there, I do agree that it's not okay. It's not cool. I also don't agree with calling her parole officer. I just want to put that out there. So anyone that's doing that, just stop. It's going to play out how it's supposed to. You don't need to interfere because it's just annoying, honestly. It's not helping. You're not helping anything by doing that. So just stop. All right, let's continue watching.
And in all honesty, if somebody wants to see somebody go to prison, if you literally put that unborn child, which literally in the state of Louisiana, and I'm sure Brody will be able, will be able to conflict with this completely, with the people that you know, I'm from the same area. Once that is done in the state of Louisiana, then you're in trouble. And it's a criminal case. You put that unborn child that is technically considered, because it's over 90 days, you are now in trouble. So they were trying to stop it. The actual probation officer in Louisiana actually contacted the probation officer in Missouri because they are the ones that truly have the, all the yeses and nos for her, and contacted them and said, okay, this has got way out of hand and now we have a safety risk.
And Mike Stanfield is still her lawyer.
Yes.
So he probably personally reached out to the parole officers and engaged this after that. I know the exact post you talking about, and I even commented on that. Y'all are not going to be happy till she is harmed and her unborn child is harmed.
Whoa, calm down there, buddy. Okay, nobody wants an innocent child to be harmed. Don't say things like that because it's not true.
When are y'all going to stop? I made a comment, and I probably got blocked from that account after I made that because I haven't seen anything from that account since. And it's Ivory Woo Woo,
Yeah.
Bestie, the Bayou T.
Well, I went on, I don't know if it was Natasha's or who it was, the other day, because literally every word that she came out of talking about probation and parole, she was completely wrong about. And I literally fired into her because she was talking about, oh, well, one of the people that was on it was like, I've been on every Louisiana update to see if they've already put the warrant out for it and all this. You dummies. And that's how I put it. You dummies. Louisiana has nothing to do with this. They're looking at court cases and all in Louisiana. She is out of parole out of Missouri. What is wrong with y'all? If there was going to be a warrant out of arrest, it would be out of Missouri.
Yeah, but she's being monitored by Missouri and Louisiana, so yeah, there's that.
Nothing to do with Louisiana except they would extradite her from Louisiana.
So I have a question, and then I do want to hear from T. But so if this is all over, like, oh, okay, well now people are putting her, unborn child at risk. So sorry, I'm kind of just like thinking through my question. So you said that somebody was saying where the appointment was. So I guess that would be a form of like doxing. That would be a form of like sharing a specific location. But then my question is at that point, are the people who are on this app who are inciting that people do this to her, can they be held accountable for that?
I'm gonna start with some spelling, and you kind of how y'all
We
do
can
this?
go get lunch tomorrow if you want.
Yes, yes. Starts with a T. Ends with a T. Get it? Terroristic.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
But if you heard the words I just said,
I did. I was trying to not get a violation.
exactly. That's why I was like, how do I do this? But actually, that is the actual charge that is being investigated right now.
Interesting. Wow. I hope.
It's four
And
people.
you said it's what?
Four. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Perfect. And we have video evidence of this, correct?
Yes. So
Wait,
what
could you repeat that, please?
And
it's I can't say the words. I said it real quick.
just say like,
I heard the word. I did hear the word, but I didn't hear the pre and the post. What was said before and after that?
Oh, there are four. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. There's four creators that are actually being investigated.
So if that's true, then that could possibly, most likely, be why Gypsy was striking certain creators to get their information, which is not okay, Gypsy. Do not do that.
Because now Gypsy's allowed to release things after she's been somewhere.
Yeah.
I can tell you that the doctor is being changed, and there's also someone who leaked it from there. So it goes back to HIPAA. And yes, so that kind of gives you the details of why, how, and what they are actually looking at. And I'm just waiting, because all of a sudden when you see them blocked and you see these accounts, or you see the next mugshot, you'll understand. And when they do, then I will finally step up and say, you know what? Yeah, you dummies. Like, this is ridiculous. What that charge itself carries the same as a second degree felony. And you're looking
one
at
of
15 to 30 years.
Gitanoga, one of the content creators calls herself a high-ranking nurse.
Yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. And
wait, hold on. I'm going to ask you this when we meet up, and I want you to, first of all, I want to disclaim two things real quick. One thing I want to disclaim is that there's no way for me to verify this information, because like there's nothing to look at, right? So you guys take this
I do.
Right. So whatever. So people saying whatever. But if you do ever find, I would love to know, it is my, for legal sake, personal opinion, that BS is not a psych nurse, and never was, and does not have an RN. And I would like to know that for sure. So if anybody knows BS's real name, not to dox anybody, I don't want to dox anybody, and I'm not encouraging anyone to dox anybody. If she has posted it anywhere and somebody knows how to figure out if she is a legitimate RN, I would love to know.
I have no idea as far as that goes, but nurse something that's on here, Angie. You're right. HIPAA doesn't actually affect anyone but the medical that was to discuss it. But if that medical person released it to these people, then we're in a situation. And when they literally exposed it and was talking about the, gynecologist takes Medicaid, there's a lot that was actually said. But
Medicaid put her picture out there, like put the doctor's picture on TikTok. Yeah, the address of her office. Like, yes, like that. I was blown away when that happened.
that's why TT is actually a real thing, because it can happen with anybody. Literally, that itself could be used something as simple as just exposing that someone you don't like and exposing, say, lies about. That's exactly what that goes to. It doesn't have to be as glamorous and it doesn't have to be as low, but that charge can be used for anything. And people are worried about the scam and all of this stuff that they've been charged with before. Be more worried about that. I heard one creator say the other day, I would never want to see anything happen to this baby. Neither would I. But I think what I finally had enough of, and I'm so strict about this, is for knowing that I spent time in prison away from my children, is for someone to say, that baby's going to be born in prison, and that's the best thing ever. Who says something like that? Unless you actually been there, and you heard my story the other day, unless you actually been there, you need to never say something like that. Because it doesn't just
That's what they want. That's what they want.
Kid.
They want her to go back. They want her to go back now.
Olivia Bean. Hold on. Olivia
Sorry, I
Bean said,
missed.
I'm telling you, this woman is not credible. First of all, Olivia Beans, who are you? Second of all, I've already spoken to this person that's speaking right now, and I know some of their backstory, and I know that they're from the area that Gypsy Rose is in now, and I know that they live currently down the road from me. What do you know? Because it sounds like you are the one that is not credible. You can't even make up your mind in the comments, and half the stuff that you're saying in my comments is not correct. Can you please get a little bit of comprehension tutoring before you sit here and talk trash about the people in my box? Because you are the one who doesn't know what you're talking about. G, you may continue. Thank you. Or Donna, I think you were talking.
Yeah. So, G, I was going to ask you. So if they leaked her information on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor's name and whatever. So we know that, they could be brought up on HIPAA violations. But could the people that receive the information who are also healthcare providers, could they also receive HIPAA violations?
I would think, now I'm not in medical field, I'm a convict, but I would think that anyone that's in the medical field that was to release that information could be held on that. That is only my opinion. I don't know for sure. And everybody knew it. But when you have people that are literally stalking her, that becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I work in healthcare and this is my thing. I don't want her records. You know what I mean? Other people can have her records. That's fine. But when I see somebody who works in healthcare and they're talking about her and they're like, oh, well, we're going to get her records, I'm in the comments going, don't do it. So, but the one content creator that talks about the medical records, she actually doxed herself in her own video because she was she was at work and you could see her badge. And it had her first name and her last name, and it said, and people kind of know what state she lives in. And somebody did put in her comments during a live, I'm going to report you to the Board of Nursing.
When it comes to, marrying somebody in prison, I can tell you about it. When it comes to being extradited, I can tell you about it. When it comes to being multi-felon, I can tell you about it. That stuff I can tell you. But the information I got actually came from DOJ. I wasn't supposed to release it, and that's why nobody knows my name. But, I'm just going to say, that's why no one knows my name. No one will ever know my name.
And Sarah, you were asking about BS. I know she's a retired nurse.
So she said,
however, if she still has an active license, that can be stripped.
Yeah, so yeah, I think the whole retired nurse thing, because I tell people, I'm like, she either never had her medical to begin with, or she got her medical license in like 1955, because like the information she knows is just not true.
I don't. I just wanted to just let you know what I had heard and the information I got, and just let you know that be aware, because tomorrow it'll be viral. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to explain, and I pray every day for that child.
So, in conclusion, what I got from this live is that Gypsy's case got taken off of Casenet because they fear for her unborn child's safety, which, in my opinion, sounds absolutely ridiculous. Let me know what you think. And that there are 4 content creators that are being investigated, and that is why Gypsy copyright struck them so that she could get their personal information. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think about all of this down below. And please like and subscribe. Love you guys. Bye.